Watch this video before NASA deletes it. For more than 100 years, scientists were obsessed with the red planet. Now, Mars looks like a huge desert with an atmosphere that is 100 times thinner than ours. If you're enjoying our videos, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, hit that little bell icon to be notified every time we post a new video. However, 4.5 billion years ago, this planet looked completely different. There were oceans, and Mars was likely a habitable place. NASA sent more missions to Mars than to any other planet in the solar system. Now it's observed by 6 spacecraft, with 2 rovers driving across its surface. NASA also started a new project involving the James Webb Space Telescope. It'll make photographs of the entire disk of Mars, while orbital stations provide close-ups which are used to compose a full map of the planet. It's hard to say whether Mars is still habitable for the simplest forms of life. Researchers know that Mars has lost almost all its liquid water due to UV light from the sun that destroyed molecules and made light hydrogen escape the surface to the atmosphere. At the same time, there are big amounts of heavy hydrogen, deuterium, remaining on Mars. Most of the water on Mars exists only in a form of ice. For many years, scientists were sure that low temperatures make Mars impossible to keep any liquid water. But then we got more and more information from rovers, and scientists were forced to reconsider their theories. There is a possibility that liquid water is hidden in underground aquifers. If this is true, Mars can still be a habitable place. Given various controversies about Mars and its ability to support life, hundreds of scientists and enthusiasts from all over the world keep asking questions that NASA doesn't want to answer. Scientists from various fields point to details that remind our own planet, claiming that Mars can be habitable, but NASA just covers up the truth. This year, Barry DiGregorio, a researcher from Buckingham University, noticed interesting textures snapped by the Curiosity rover. These textures look like trace fossils left by soft-bodied creatures. In his practice, DiGregorio has seen hundreds of such trace fossils that were left by prehistoric worms, centipedes, and other creatures. He claims that textures found by Curiosity were left by alien life forms. Responding to his theory, NASA stated that these images represent regular rock crystals and have nothing to do with any living organisms. This answer got many people who devoted their lives to searching for life on Mars to thinking that NASA just covers up evidence of extraterrestrial life. DiGregorio says that NASA intentionally ignores such findings because it plans to send a manned mission to the Red Planet in the 2030s and take a closer look at all the controversial places on the surface. Dr. DiGregorio is an honorary research fellow at the University of Buckingham. He studies microscopic life that exists now and that lived millions of years ago in the soil on Earth. When he saw images received from Curiosity, he was shocked by how similar they are to Ordovician trace fossils that he photographed here. Such fossils were left by various animals that left their footprints and waste matter. Given that these fossils don't have remains of animals themselves, it's hard to say something for sure when you find similar patterns on another planet that has always been considered dead. Ordovician fossils correspond to the period from 485.4 million years ago, the Cambrian period, to 44.38 million years ago, which is the Silurian period. There were many primitive creatures living on Earth back then, and Dr. DiGregorio claims that textures captured by Curiosity look like prints left by simple organisms with soft bodies. Even if these are not trace fossils, how would NASA explain these pictures? The answer remains unknown, as NASA certainly wants the general public to forget about it. Instead of studying the new data, NASA has chosen to move the rover further. Such an order came directly from their headquarters. DiGregorio noticed that it's really odd that they didn't consider this picture important enough. Billions of years ago, there were many lakes in Gale Crater where Curiosity took its photo. This area had conditions similar to those that we have on Earth, so these trace fossils may prove that Mars also had its own Ordovician period. If you think that Dr. DiGregorio is the only one who believes that these prints are evidence of life on Mars, you're wrong. The European Space Agency became very interested in these images, so they even decided to turn around their trace gas orbiter to take a closer look at these textures. This maneuver, which is called aerobraking, is difficult and risky. So they wouldn't do it without considerable reasons. It reached an orbit around Mars in 2016 and changed its flight angle several times to get the best picture of the surface of the red planet. Aerobraking has been initiated in 2017, and now the craft must lower its orbit because its scientific mission is possible only at a 249-mile altitude. Now, the European Space Agency plans to dig into the Martian atmosphere to use a probe. They hope to find methane and traces of other gases that appear in the atmosphere due to biological activity. Europeans are going to land their own rover on Mars in 2021. They already made such an attempt, but in 2016, the first European rover crashed on the surface. These unique prints are not the only controversial findings of the Curiosity rover. In January, it found strange stick-like figures, unknown formations on a Martian rock. When it happened, NASA didn't try to hide any information. They said that these objects are, quote, very peculiar targets. So the rover immediately veered right toward that zone. These little stick figures, which are just a 1/4 inch long, might be gypsum crystals, minerals that are often found on bottoms of dry Martian lakes. Now, NASA plans to investigate them and identify their age. Who knows? Maybe someday they'll tell us what they know about fossils of prehistoric Martian slugs and worms. Alright, Top Fivers, if you haven't already, make sure to visit our other channel, The Brilliant, for even more interesting list videos that'll blow your mind. But I'm warning you, the videos over on The Brilliant are extremely addicting to watch as well. There'll be a link in the description to the channel, so make sure to come and visit us. Or you can go to our latest video popping up on screen right now. Oh, and have you visited thefinestpost.com to enjoy the most amazing articles you'll ever get to read?